Welcome back, everyone. I'm Theater Prestio, and this is Middara, Unintentional Malum, Act 1. Alright, we finished the Mass Day 1. We're going to be going to Wrong Way. Rook knocked on the thick stone slab with the butt of his weapon. It reverberated like a drum, but didn't budge. No way we're getting through that. Nightingale glared at it. Did we take a wrong turn? She glanced over her shoulder at where Zeke and Remy watched. Seems that way. Rook lowered his weapon. Remember, this whole thing is coordinated. Hundreds of candidates are going through the same test. The monsters aren't wild. They have to release them for us in each area, or we'll have nothing to fight. The twists and turns are just another part of the mast. It looks like they can seal up passages with these big stone panels. Zeke dug around in one of his pockets, coming up with a cigarette. Translation? We're too awesome for this test. They don't want us to slow down, so... they want us to slow down so they can spend time on the teams that suck. Looks like it. Rook gestured back down the way they come. I think I saw a good place to camp back there. At least we aren't failing, Remy said. I'd rather be ahead of the curve than behind it. Go to setting up camp, page 9. This looks like a good spot. Remy tried to sound enthusiastic. The cavern they had chosen to spend the night in had a ceiling at least 20 feet up. Damp stalactites glittered in the light of their glowstones, occasionally dripping water. Even so, the floor was dry and flat enough to serve their needs. I like it. Rook gestured ahead with one meaty hand. Only one other way out. Should be easy to keep watch. Nightingale hurried past Remy into the cavern. Wouldn't it be sweet if we were the first team ever to finish the mast in one day? Zeke stopped right in the middle of the cave, sloughing off his heavy pack. It dropped with a dull thud at his feet. But we won't. It's going to get harder. We need a rest if we want to finish this with all our limbs. Remy needed no further encouragement to drop her pack. She closed her eyes, letting her massive wings stretch and flex. It felt fantastic, at least until she felt them smack something. Ow! Zeke yelled. Sorry. Remy blushed, retreating a little. I didn't mean to. Nah, it's nothing. Zeke shrugged, wiping a feather off his cheek. It's better than being slapped by Knight's tail. I haven't done that in ages. Nightingale glared at him. I'll start the fire. I can help. Rook set his bag down at his feet, fishing around for a few seconds before pulling out flint and steel. I like to do it, Nightingale said with excitement as she took the tools from Rook. The mast is supposed to prepare us for whatever Middara can throw at us. That means no shortcuts. Rook reached into his bag, withdrawing a bundle of sticks and a box of tinder. No shortcuts? He asked, holding them out to her. Fine, she said, taking the sticks. Remy frowned, thinking of what she could do. The other members of the team all seemed to know one another already, but they barely knew her name. I could set up the tents. Sure. Zeke was the last to separate, weapon in hand. I'll scout the cave for traps, just in case. Make a perception 10 check with Zeke. So Zeke does have the highest perception at 6. It is possible to fail this. I haven't failed it yet. But I just jinxed myself, so let's see. Or we get the maximum roll. Yeah, I've never failed it. It is possible if you roll either double ones or a 1 and a 2, that'll be enough to potentially fail it. It's like a 8% chance or something like that to fail. Anyway, we pass. We go ahead and check out the loot. Zeke walked the perimeter of the cave, scraping along the rock with his sword. Where the gloom concealed, he used his weapon to check for danger. There was no way to guess what the proctors might throw at them. Giant rats sat loose into the camp while they slept. Pipes to flood the cave. Whatever the Institute had planned, Zeke would be ready. He didn't find any secret passages, hidden traps, or insidious ways to torment them in their sleep. As he neared the end of the search, he struck a section of rough wall that thumped strangely when he hit it. Hey guys, I think there's something here. He called before dropping onto his knees and feeling around. After a few seconds, a little lever gave way under his touch. A facade retracted from the wall, revealing a tightly wrapped bundle. He kicked at it, sending it rolling out of the opening and onto the floor in front of him without exploding, shooting acid or sending spikes at him through the floor. He grinned, lifting the bundle of burlap and holding it up for the rest of the team to see. Hey, everybody, I found a care package. Nice work, Rook called, not rising from his work around their makeshift fire pit. They must have hidden some supplies like this for the groups who actually pay attention. The party gains 4 random mundane consumables. Keyword here is party, which means we can divvy these out however we want. Oh, one thing also to note, whenever you do a restore, you can freely trade amongst each other. So if we wanted to, we can divvy out like the consumables or swap gear and stuff. A long time ago, I have heard some people's strategies is to swap Nightingale's occult shirt with Zeke's leather jacket, because Zeke's ability, of course, revolves around him actually having a dodge, but he actually doesn't have any built-in dodges in his gear or his disciplines. But I usually don't bother. I've sometimes done the two-handed sword route, but Nightingale's damage drops off significantly when you do that. Anyway, we get 4 random gundoy consumables. As always, we're going to shuffle and take the top 4. Boom. So a magic bomb, juice box, a wooden plank, and a smoke bomb. So 2 of these we're already familiar with. So let's talk about the smoke bomb. Smoke bomb has no keywords. Discard, you do not provoke break attacks until end of turn. Way more smoke than you need. I have never used a smoke bomb. Ever. It is by far probably the least useful item ever. I mean, if there's ever a situation where you do need to like move away for something, it can be useful, but I've never been anytime I'm in a situation where I need to do that, I usually have other means to move without provoking break attacks. It's just not worth the consumable slot. And then we got this thing, Ubiquitous Plank. Discard, you may do one of the following. You can deal purple physical damage to an adjacent opponent, so it's kind of similar to those throwing knives, but melee. It automatically hits, so it doesn't miss. At any time on your turn, you can place a plank token on an adjacent space. This is actually kind of interesting. It says at any time. On your turn. So if there's ever a situation where you fail a jump, I guess you can technically put the plank down before you fall. But yeah, essentially a plank token is one of these. And you can put this on top of any tile, essentially, including a dangerous terrain tile, and it becomes just regular terrain at that point. It's usually used to kind of get across pits and stuff without having to use a jump. Also, if you're ever dealt damage, you can reduce physical damage dealt by you to you by 2 if you just need an emergency way of tanking. So this is what we have. So for this, let's go ahead and give the smoke bomb to Rook. I'm going to give a plank to Nightingale. Yeah, I'll give it to Nightingale. I'll have Rook carry the bomb, the extra bomb. And I'll also... I'll give him the juice box. So remember, Rook does have 4 consumable slots instead of just 3. Okay. We go to Cozy Fire, number 10. Remy worked diligently, not bothering to keep her wings folded behind her as she rolled out the sleeping mats. The others were all relaxing after their intense day, but Remy couldn't complain. She would show them how useful she could be. When she was done, Remy strung tripwires across the cavern entrance. She didn't think the Institute would plan an attack in the middle of the night, but she wasn't going to rule it out. Rook's voice rumbled from the fire circle. That's right, not too much. He sat on a large rock, watching Nightingale. Get it into the rest of the wood, quickly. She puffed on a ball of smoldering kindling, and soon the fistful of plant fibers began to smoke. That wasn't hard. Nightingale wiped her hands against her shirt. Is roughing it always this easy? Easy. It took you 20 minutes to light the fire, Zeke said. Since returning from his scouting excursion, he'd watched as Nightingale and Rook struggled to get the fire lit. Nightingale only shrugged and grinned at him. Soon enough, they'd gather around the fire to share bowls of camp stew. Remy felt much better with hot food in her stomach and a merry fire crackling nearby. Nightingale smiled appreciatively. This is good stuff, Remy. I always thought travel food was supposed to suck. Remy looked away, though she couldn't keep the pride from her face. I used to cook for my little brothers and sisters. Half the time we had less in the cupboards than the academy gave us. Nightingale looked up with understanding in her eyes. My family back on Earth didn't have a lot either. And now we're in Middara. Zeke's voice was more subdued as he sipped the broth from his bowl. What we had on Earth isn't what we have here. Another few days and we'll be citizens. We'll be able to leave the academy whenever we want, buy anything we want, do whatever we want. Maybe your mom will let you, Nightingale muttered, but Balthazar and Kezia? It feels like I'm just a tool. We're pawns, Zeke. Pawn's in a game they've been probably been playing for a century by now. You're a princess, Remy said. Isn't that exciting? Nightingale scoffed. If you like being cooped up for the rest of your life. She gestured at the cavern around them. Now this is exciting. Adventure, danger, monsters, and traps. Remy frowned and took another sip from her bowl. Nightingale patted Remy on the back. Don't sweat it. I thought being a princess would be much cooler, too. Zeke shifted on his log. I don't know. It's better than being poor. His eyes flickered over toward Rook. No offense. Rook waved his hand dismissively and kept eating his stew. But my mom, or should I say Lady Ida Zhang, get past all her bullshit in politics, I think she's got a heart somewhere. I bet your parents are the same, Knight. I doubt it. I'll be lucky if this isn't the last time I'm in any kind of danger, Nightingale said. It's not like it's unique to royalty, Rook replied thoughtfully. My parents are just farmers. They're great, but I don't think farming's for me. I'd rather do something more exciting, too. Nightingale grunted her agreement. Remy looked up and found all three of them watching her. She shuffled uncomfortably under the weight of their stares. What about you, Remy? Nightingale finally asked. I've heard Zeke complain about his mom 1,000 times, but I've never really talked to you. Well, all I have here is my father. Remy looked away. I'm not really sure what kind of person he is. Nightingale raised an eyebrow, but Remy didn't continue. She didn't want them to think less of her. Rook saved her. We should rest. We'll need our strength for tomorrow. Remy slept uneasily in the cave, tossing and turning on her thin sleeping pad. The sleeping bags they'd been given were threadbare and offered little insulation. From the occasional shifting or grunt she heard in the dark, Remy was fairly sure her new friends were all equally uncomfortable. The next morning, Rook woke her with a gentle nudge and the smell of oatmeal. After a quick breakfast and a little time spent cleaning up their camp, they started moving again. I've got a great feeling about today, Nightingale called from the front of the group. She sounded far more awake than Remy felt. We didn't get to finish early. That doesn't mean we can't totally own it. I'm sure we will. Zeke walked beside Nightingale, which left Remy at the rear with Rook. Though the corridor was only just wide enough for them to walk abreast, at least it was mostly a straight path. She supposed far fewer students would make it through the mast if they were constantly getting lost. They didn't have far to go before the path widened, running along the edge of a dank pond. Remy reached out with one boot. Water splashed and ripples echoed across the darker surface. They weren't alone. And we go to the mast day 2. All right. A small pond stands between you and a ferocious Gavaden. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I always called it Gavaden. Your sudden approach must have drawn its attention. The creature now growls in your direction. In the dark, you can hear the clicking of cave sickle somewhere in the distance. Hopefully, if nobody gets too close, the cave sickles won't even realize anyone is here until the Gavaden has been killed. Okay, special encounter rules. No timer this time. Gavaden is worth 5 points. Cave sickle is worth 2 points each. And defeated adventurers makes you lose points. And there is no exit for this one. You have to defeat all the enemies here, or be defeated yourself. All right. Let's go ahead and read the back of the Gavaden. Like weeds, their numbers grow. Many consider Gavaden beautiful. Their lithe bodies are covered in a thick, snow-white fur and intricate markings adorning their brows. Many foolishly compare them to earth canines and assume they will have a similar temperament. Unfortunately, their beauty belies their nature. This beast is a fierce creature with a razor-tipped tail and teeth to match. They are efficient and voracious predators, a dangerous nuisance to farmers across the continent of Haltis. Pack animals by nature, it is almost impossible to find a single Gavaden. Gavaden designate pack leaders according to strength, and the species appears to lack any strong sexual dimorphism. Unlike many animals, the alpha takes responsibility for the whole pack instead of merely dominating them. They are the ones to scout out prey and initiate a hunt. They eat last, breed first, and make sure to maintain order amongst themselves. A pack's alpha will be the first to show itself, and sometimes acting as bait before the rest of the pack descends upon their hapless prey. If threatened, even separate packs of Gavaden will work together to protect themselves and their territories. This sense of temporary allegiance between packs of Gavaden shows an intelligence that goes beyond similar creatures on Earth. Many enterprising colonists have fallen to overwhelming numbers of Gavaden who unite to keep their territory free of other predators. Gavaden have also been known to kill for sport rather than to sate their hunger. This is most evident in places where there are no other natural predators to cull their numbers. As far back as written history survives, colonies and cities designated adept hunters and warriors to combat the Gavadan threat along their borders. These chosen individuals are known in modern times as the Order of Shepherds, and their goal is to manage the Gavadan population and drive the beast away from civilization. They do not always succeed. All right. So yeah, we'll talk more about the Gavadan next time. Like I said, I am going to go ahead and put breaks here between the story bits. This particular encounter may go quick. If it does, I may just do the next few story bits if they're short enough. So with that, I am the Depressed Viewer. This was Middara, Unintentional Malum Act 1. I will see you guys next time.